No, 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 no.
And this is a very special Most Haunted. This is the 100th investigation, and so to celebrate, I've decided to bring us back full circle. I've brought us back to the very beginning, to where it all started, to a place that we consider to be one of the most haunted locations we've ever investigated, to a place that holds for us unfinished business. This week I've brought us back to Sussex and to Michelham Priory.
Back in the summer of 2001, Carl and I headed to a location near Eastbourne, and as our memories still show us, stepped into a property that didn't disappoint.
Oh, what was that? I don't like this room. There's a door, there was a door opening. Oh my God!
Pair of legs. Legs. Yeah, well, I said like a long coat, but Rick said a cloak.
I think I'm going first. You've got another thing coming.
Access is only possible via the Gatehouse Bridge, unless of course you'd like to swim the medieval moat that surrounds the 13th century priory and its 6-acre grounds and outbuildings. The Augustinian order of monks who lived here built the moat in 1388 to counter a French attack. But Henry VIII's dissolution of the monasteries 3 centuries later brought about the end of their tenancy. Several families have owned it since, but it's volunteer staff who undertake its upkeep in the modern age. An endless list of eerie events are still reported both inside and outside this remarkable location. So, a century of investigations and 1 or 2 hairstyles later, is Michelham Priory still a leading light in paranormal phenomena?
With so much history, so many ghosts and memories, I thought it was only fitting that Carl and myself should spend last night alone and in the dark to see if the Priory remembered us as fondly as we remembered it. And this is what happened.
So that's where it all started. The home of Most Haunted.
Right here.
There we go. Back in again for the first time in 5 years. Come on. We're not scared of you.
Did you hear that?
I did hear that. The atmosphere in here is weird.
I want to get out. I want to get out.
No, 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 we can't. We've only just got here. We've got all night yet.
I'm so
We're sleeping here.
frightened.
What was that? What was that? What was that? No, I'm not. What do you mean don't? It's not me. Oh, no, you're not going.
I am not going. I am not going. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. I am so scared. Please don't. I need to go. I'm not. Please.
Stop it. There's nothing. A ghost can't hurt you.
Yes, it can. Please come.
No.
I'm so scared.
We've got all night here, yeah?
I'll sleep outside. I am not sleeping in here. No way. I'll sleep in the car. I'll sleep on a bench. Please don't make me sleep here.
Can I just try one thing?
Please don't make me come, please. It's too scary.
Let me try one thing. Please make one more sound and we will go. I promise you. Please tap if you're here. Oh, what's it?
I tell you what, I promise you, we'll just sleep in the car, all right? I'll be right tomorrow. I'm sorry. It's just that place is jumping.
Do you think it's remembered us?
Oh, yeah. Walking outside in these fantastic surroundings, it's hard to imagine being scared of anything. But when night falls, it's a completely different matter. A lady dressed in grey has been seen standing here, looking down into the water. It's thought that she was one of the Sackvilles who lost her daughter when she drowned in the moat below.
I've been living here for 7 years now, and really it all started off in the first week I was here. Within 2 nights of actually being here, I actually woke up one night and heard a bureau which I had in my living room moving across the floor, and that was my sort of welcome to Michelham Priory. It took me another 2 weeks with various things happening to me to make me really realise that I wasn't on my own at all, and I had to really start getting used to the fact that I was sharing my house with something.
A phantom white Charger has been witnessed galloping through this gatehouse at top speed, always heading towards the Priory, but it vanishes, never quite reaching its goal.
Probably one of the best things that happened while the crew were here. 2 of them witnessed a figure halfway up the fireplace. They both described it as wearing a black cloak and that it also had sandals on. Now, of course, this was an Augustinian priory, so possibly it was one of the priors. What is it doing halfway up the fireplace? Well, on examination, of course, at the back of the fireplace, there is a priest hole. It's still there, it's still preserved.
As well as monks, which are seen here on a regular basis, there are 3 main spirits which haunt Michelham Priory. 2 are men. One of them wears a long black cloak and has been seen wandering the corridors and ascending non-existent stairs. The other wears a long black coat and has scruffy hair.
The only thing the only ghost I've seen here in 7 years is a chap on the staircase. And it was 3 years ago, last September. I remember walking in the evening about 11:30, walked up the stairs and was aware of a pair of feet coming down towards me on the staircase. And I looked up and saw this individual, and a guy wearing a long red coat, black hair, quite a lot of grey in it, and as clear as me looking at you. That really, really scared me. I ran upstairs as fast as I could, got into the flat. My partner at the time came out of the bedroom in floods of tears and complete hysteria. It transpired that only a minute, 2 minutes before I'd seen the guy on the stairs, she reckoned that the same chap was in the bedroom holding a bunch of lavender above her in the bed. That's something that I saw and that she saw. And that was vivid, very, very vivid. The only way I can describe this to you nowadays is that things do still happen. If I can just put you in a position of walking into a really busy restaurant or pub in town and everyone's talking and chatting and eating and drinking, imagine yourself walking to a room, open the door, and every single person stopping eating, drinking, and just staring at you. That'd be quite an uncomfortable feeling. And that's what I get. And odd nights you walk in and you go, wow. And it's like a little tip on the shoulder saying, look, you're not on your own and it's not yours. And those are the nights that things tend to happen.
Well, just for once, I had prior knowledge of what the night may hold. But as I discussed this 100th investigation with our parapsychologist Kieran O'Keefe, the Priory threw an early warning in our direction.
Kieran, Michelham Priory for us is incredibly special. You know the whole story. How do you feel about coming here?
I'm equally excited, but for very different reasons. Having worked with you as a team for many, many shoots, I keep hearing about Michelham Priory, and it's just great to come back here now with an experienced team and more cameras and trying to capture what you captured that very first time.
Do you know, it's funny because you look back and you actually realise how naive we all were. We didn't really know what we were doing. We had one night vision camera, and yet for us we seemed to sort of capture so much activity. But when you look back at it, you think, is that because we didn't know what we were looking for? Everything was a ghost. What do you think?
The great thing about coming back to Michelham Priory now is the team are critical thinkers, but they've had the experience at investigating the paranormal. So if anything happens, they're not going to be jumping to a paranormal conclusion immediately. In addition, they're going to be focusing the camera on the event, as opposed to before when, you're right, naivety, innocence, excitement meant that we weren't capturing the evidence. Now, hopefully, we can capture everything.
the other thing we have to remind ourselves is that we could go home incredibly disappointed.
Yeah, I am aware today, being here with the team, that there's a lot of expectation, there's a lot of excitement, and people are saying...
Sorry, where did that come from?
I think that was from the panelling.
No, but did someone bang it?
Someone lean back?
You see,
or...
no, you see, I just heard knocking in the corner. Did anybody lean back then?
I heard that. I thought it came from back here. It came from in this room somewhere.
I'm telling you, this place is spooky. Really.
It is. I'm really excited about it. I'm excited about it more than I have been any other place, because you guys have been here before, but also the number of different experiences that people have had, the apparitions that Carl and others have seen, the noises, you know, and not only that.
Where's that coming from, Stuart?
It came from the fireplace.
So it's starting already.
The cameras had barely started to roll, but the audibles were already in full swing. And with medium David Wells and guest psychic Ian Shillito joining us, we would need to be quick on our feet as Most Haunted hits 100.
It's not...
They're shouting, yeah.
Shouting?
Get out.
Is that to us?
That's to us.
Oh, you are.
Most Haunted are celebrating their landmark century of shows with a paranormal investigation back where it all began. But has time been a great healer? Or 5 years after we first fell foul of its spiritual activity, would we live to regret returning to Michelham Priory? We've been joined in East Sussex by two men who are very keen to explore the hidden depths of this location. But before we hear from guest psychic Ian Shillito, medium David Wells began his reading with a visit to the entrance hall.
There seems to be an energy sort of coming down.
From that direction
Yeah,
over
it's
there?
sort of coming, sweeping down and out. And it might be this much. What was that?
Did anybody hear that?
I heard it.
I thought that was you.
No, it's like a like a...
Oh, I really thought that was you. Oh, I thought that was... Yeah.
Wasn't me. What? What?
Just seen a woman run in here.
You've seen a woman?
Yeah. Can you hear a baby crying?
I can't.
I thought it was strong enough. Maybe it was just me that heard it. This feels like a really feminine space to me, like children. Maybe, but it's not.
Piano, we've out down.
The sound of the harpsichord playing downstairs saw us all rush to investigate. After all, this sound was coming from an empty room.
Is there no one do that?
No one there.
So the harpsichord plays on its own.
There's no one here.
We've got that on tape, definitely. I heard it.
God, now I'm going. Now it's all.
Heart's racing.
That was mad, though, wasn't it?
That was brilliant. Come on, let's keep going.
These first few minutes back inside the Priory had brought back so many memories, with this harpsichord serving as a stark reminder of just how haunted this building seems to be. And just in case it happened again, Kieran immediately set up a locked-off camera as well as an MP3 recorder to capture any other unusual occurrences.
But don't think it's a prior, it's two cannons, which sounds a bit odd, really, but two cannons are having a disagreement, and I think there may be some energy of that in this room, so things might move in this room. There's an energy there, there's like a ball of energy, and things might clatter and fly about a bit, or sound as if they smash, because it sounds like there's a fight going on, a physical fight. And it's almost like because they're fighting, they've created this energy, and the energy itself moves around. And I've just never seen it before.
So if we hear any clattering or anything like that?
Breaking or you feel that like a whip past you.
That's their energy of fighting. Okay, let's keep walking through.
I've got a sharp pain in my back. No, it's not you. You're guiding me back.
A sharp pain?
Pain.
Can you bring the camera down?
So no one's actually touched it, which is interesting, but you still felt it.
Like, describe it. Like, if I were to mimic it now, would it be a needle? Would it be a pen?
Yes,
or
feel like a pin being driven straight through the skin.
This was clearly worrying, but had Stuart perhaps fallen victim to the psychology associated with this location? Unfortunately, just 2 minutes later, David's reading of the kitchen would be brought to a sudden halt.
It's warm in here, isn't it?
It is. Oh, you are
Wait, me back! Something's just cut me down.
quick, get it!
Stu?
Are you alright?
It's just, yeah.
I've got it. All right. I've got it. That's not good.
No, that's not good.
Did it feel like a pin thing again?
Yeah.
It's like a scratch, isn't it?
That's
Something
not
sharp
good.
just ran down my back then.
I'm not liking
Oh,
that.
that sting.
Can I just...
It's like a scratch, because the scratch carries.
But you're you've got me in your shot, so I know if anybody at home go, oh, he's done it himself.
We can also... Hold on a second.
Yeah, it's a proper scratch, kid.
It's
Yeah.
still bleeding.
Bleeding.
Because we can also just have a look.
What? Well, I've just got blood.
No, but if people are saying, you know...
Right, okay.
This, because that sort of scratch, for that to happen, it has to be nails. And you can see on Stuart's
I haven't
nails.
got many nails anyway, so...
Actually, there's 2 scratches.
That's short.
Actually, it's really long. It's really long.
It starts then goes deep, doesn't it?
It starts off, you've got 2 here, and then it goes right down. So you have, whatever it is has been dragged from here to here. And for that to do that is a pin or something really sharp like that. But it's come from... You can't do that with your nails. You just can't. I feel sick.
What's going to happen now then for the rest of the night?
Why is that you? You had that before up there.
I don't know unless there's something here that doesn't like men, if it's saying towards...
Is there anything here you can sense?
The only negative energy I've got is this fighting. Is this ball of energy. We need to keep an eye on you during the rituals.
Try as we might, no one could offer a rational explanation of what had caused this scratch or cut. And with Stuart left as stunned and scared as the rest of us, it felt appropriate to take a break before inviting our guest medium, Ian Shillitoe, to enter Michelham Priory.
What I'm sensing at the moment is a young boy. I'd probably say about 5 or 6, and he is very excited at us being here. I'm feeling quite excited myself with his energy, and the image that I'm being given is like a little Lord Fauntleroy, if you remember from when you were kids and stuff. That type of, but not so posh. A little bit more orphan-like, although he was resident to the building at some point, but he's definitely in this vicinity.
Can you give us a time period when he would have been here?
I would say pre-Victorian. I think Victorian's too obvious. It's earlier than that.
Right.
1790 is probably around about the time that he was here.
Okay. Any names coming through as yet with him?
The first name, the minute you said that, that's come straight into my head is Edward. And we'll take it from there. I'll leave that at the time being and just see if we get anything further from that.
All right.
There's some sort of rowing, and it's a rowing over money. There's a situation where somebody has lent somebody some money and a big sort of argument going on across the table from somebody.
Shouting?
They're shouting,
What are they shouting? Shout it. I want to explain.
That's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Slam bang like that. That's what I'm hearing at the moment. I think somebody was murdered. It was quite specific, and I think it happened outside here in the grounds. Here's somebody. So it was a situation, an argument that got out of hand. It was to do with money, and it evolved into an argument. And there were, swords drawn, and there was a big old argument. Yeah, there was some. I mean,
Would anybody pick up on the physical effect of that living now? If somebody came into here, would they?
They're not the swords as such, because the fight happened outside, but the lead up to the fight, the argument definitely in here.
Right.
That I think there's going to be audibles in here, there's going to be bangs in here. There's certainly the sense of somebody having an argument. And you would feel slightly as if something's standing behind you.
Right.
There's a lot of looking over your shoulder.
Right.
Which to me means active spirit activity, and somebody actually coming up, a spirit person coming up and standing within your aura. So when you stand within somebody's aura, if you've ever had that feeling of someone standing behind you, you know it.
Right.
You can feel it without even seeing them.
So somebody could be stood here and somebody could come right up behind
right
them.
close into their aura, and you go, oh, and you look around and there's no one there. So I think that happens all around this house, actually, to be honest with you. And the words I'm getting in my head now is get out.
All right.
All right. And that's on a clairaudient level.
Is that to us?
That's to us.
Get out.
Get out.
Well, that would make sense.
And once I'd explained to Ian what had previously happened in this room, we moved through to the entrance hall, although it wasn't long before another noise caught our attention, sending Carl upstairs to investigate and discover phenomena first witnessed 5 years before.
Is there anywhere else you want to go before we start? It was good because we can actually... What was that?
There's a thump from above.
Yeah.
Did you get that?
You all right, Carl? Carl? You okay?
We're going to have to get a camera in there later on.
Why? What's happened?
Exactly what happened last time with the chair.
You are joking.
I heard movement, that's why I went over there. And the chair's moved.
Should we come up? And it did this last time we were here. All those years ago, it did exactly the same thing.
It's not the little boy that's done this. This is too calculated.
Who is it?
This is the man, the guy from down in the kitchen that had the argument.
And why would he do something like this? I mean, what does this achieve?
Because he's doing what we want him to do.
Even though he was the one that was saying, get out.
Yeah. I mean, I feel...
Shh. Sorry. Harpsichord. No, it was the tape.
No, I think it was the tape running.
No, quiet.
Shh.
Harpsichord.
Go. Don't touch the harpsichord. If that was the harpsichord.
We've got it.
We've got the lock off there, we've got an MP3 recorder underneath, and we've got the beam breakers to show that it wasn't actually anybody playing it. If we genuinely got that.
Have we got it, John, do you think?
I heard it.
You've heard, what, through your earphones?
Yes.
Right,
Twice.
okay, twice. Who do you reckon's doing that then? Is
That's
it the man?
boy.
Oh, is it the boy?
Mm. Yeah, it's childish. You know, it's something that he's going to do.
We came here nearly 5 years ago. Would the spirits remember us?
Yeah.
They would?
Mm-hmm.
So they remember me and Carl?
Mm-hmm.
We were taken by surprise by this second outburst of music, but that didn't stop the mystery. Because although our equipment had clearly captured the sound upstairs, the locked-off camera and MP3 recorder that Kieran had positioned right beside the harpsichord were completely silent when he played them back. This was phenomena that had even our biggest skeptic intrigued. Yet it wouldn't be the last incident to shock us at Michelham Priory. Welcome back to Most Haunted's 100th investigation as we turn back the clock 5 years to retrace our steps into the nerve-shredding Michelham Priory.
Are you still?
What was that? What was that? What was that?
Whoa. Was that you, John?
It's the door again, wasn't it?
Experience both past and now present tells us that this holy by name but not by nature location gets even darker once the lights go out. So we switch all our cameras to night vision and decide to stir things up further by holding a séance in the entrance hall. But how comfortable would this be for David, Ian, Richard, Carl, Kath and myself?
If there are any spirit people here, anyone who wishes to communicate with us, please make your presence felt.
What was that?
It's a door knocker. No, it's a door knocker. What? Oh, it's got icy cold round my legs.
I'm sure something's just moved across the top of that staircase.
From there to there?
Yes, from right to left.
That's exactly what I've been seeing.
Definite.
It's awful. It's like something had lifted my hands at the side. Is there anything next to me?
No, nothing
Apart
me.
from you, Richard.
I mean, Stuart's a good 4 foot away from you, 3 foot away
Sounds
from
like
you.
something barging in.
easily.
Yeah.
I've gone cold.
Also here.
I think what's happening, they're joining forces now, it seems. To me, there's more than one of them now. They're starting to circle a bit more.
I'm calling out to the spirits in this house of Michelham Priory. Please come forward.
What's that? What's that?
That's someone's stomach?
No,
That was like
you, Stuart.
that was like a growl.
That was like a growl. Yeah.
There is a male energy here.
Tapping, tapping. Can you hear it?
Yeah,
It's not actually on the table.
Oh, it's coming now. Oh,
Can you feel her?
so cold, Kieran.
Yeah, I'm picking up all of the drops and temperature.
Whoa. Was that you, John?
It's the door again, wasn't it?
That's the bang on the door.
Crawling, I'm getting so cold. It's that uncomfortable now.
Come towards us now.
Was you right behind me there?
Well, I'm stood here. I'm not touched you.
I've gone really dizzy.
Did you breathe? Did you go?
So dizzy.
Yeah.
I had felt two extremes during this séance, from cold spots around my legs to a sudden dizziness as we closed the séance. Kath too felt some invisible force far too close for comfort, and then of course came a growl that everyone could hear. After a start like this, 4 brave souls were now needed to head upstairs. Step forward Richard Felix, John Gilbert, John Dibley, and a usually unflappable Kieran O'Keefe.
Do anything that you can do. Anything will be good enough for us.
We come in
Did you hear
respect.
that?
What was that?
Yeah.
I got a real chill. Just as I said do anything, I got a real chill down my back.
Spirit of the Augustinian Prior John Leam. We're told that you haunt this place. We're told that you spent a lot of time here. If there is someone there, would you please make a sign for us? Would you let us know why you're still? What? I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know whether something brushed past me.
You do
know. Touched that. I don't. I'm not sure. I don't know. Something touched my right shoulder.
Do it again.
Yeah, you were walking over.
But I'm over this way. I don't know whether.
Let's not discuss it.
Are you wandering around the building with us? Are you playing games with us?
What was that? I heard something out there. First of all, did anyone else hear something?
I heard
No.
what I thought was a voice.
Oh,
coming
I
from
didn't
out there.
hear anything.
What was that?
I definitely heard the voice.
You heard a voice.
I definitely heard the voice, and I thought it was coming from.
I reacted to John's reaction. To be honest, I didn't hear anything beforehand. Dear.
But
Let's go.
Oh, that's what was that? That was like
That was a latch.
Coin or
That was a latch.
Oh, it was the latch.
that came from below here.
I think someone's coming in. Hello? No, it was a skidding noise.
To me, it was more like a coin.
It was a skidding noise.
It's that interpretation, is it? You think it was?
Hold on.
It was like zig doing one.
Like a coin coming down the ramp. That's what it could have been.
Be a coin, but that seems.
Well, could that have been the same coin?
Let's. I don't know. Hang on. Here we go. Wasn't unlike it, was it?
Yeah, but we were upstairs.
Wasn't unlike it.
A metallic sound that could have come from a coin and the sound of voices had taken even a skeptic by surprise and seemed to prove one thing, that no one can escape the phenomena that this property provides its visitors. Despite his earlier cuts and bruises, a patched-up Stuart felt fine enough to join Carl in the Priory, whilst a few hundred yards away, 2 more vigils had begun. David and I were amongst a group down at the watermill, and guest medium Ian Shillito joined John Dibley and Ian in the gatehouse.
Listen. What's above us? But what's above us? There's nothing above us.
There's nothing above us, it's the roof.
What's above us? There's somebody pacing around.
How do we get to the roof?
It's locked.
You sure?
Look at the roof. Look at it, it's slanted. Anyone was walking on that, they'd slide off.
Listen. Hello?
What the f***?
Yeah, what was that? Did you hear that?
What the f***?
Yeah, what was that?
Yes, let's go up.
We can't, I think that's as far as we can go.
Is it?
The thing is, it's very
What's behind
safe.
you, Ian?
There's a door.
Is there a door? Is there a trap door or something?
An owl would not make that noise, surely.
Only an owl with shoes on.
No, I'm just trying to be rational, right? I'm not doing the mediumship now. I'm doing the, I'm doing the physical.
Can't even get your bearings.
I can't even see anything.
Right, I've got one entity.
Have you?
Yeah, little man.
Really?
Little man, and he seems to be obviously looking after the mill. He's got a hammer or something in his hand. And he's just tapping on the side. I don't know if people report that. I don't know if people hear that, but
Is he nice or not nice?
he just seems to be going about his business.
Right.
Doesn't seem to be that bothered to us.
Okay. But maybe he doesn't know we're here yet.
I mean, this part here is a bit of Most Haunted history. I saw in that fireplace a set of legs. And I don't know what they were, if they were legs or I was seeing anything, but I saw legs and it was witnessed by 2 of us. And they were there for quite a long time, but unfortunately we didn't have cameras, night vision cameras, and we only had one. Do you know, I'm so scared. Every movement. God. So nice. I think it's a heater. Is it? What? Somebody just touched me on my shoulder. What? So somebody just touched me on my shoulder, Stu. Somebody just touched me on my shoulder. Oh, Stu, man, I'm so scared.
Mate, I know, I am.
I'm freezing cold. I've got goosebumps. Just want to get out of here, but...
Whoa!
What was that? What was that? What was that? Please, if that's you, could you do something else again for us? Thank you for what you've done so far. We appreciate that.
I don't like it. I'm going. I can't stay there any longer.
These 3 simultaneous vigils were rapidly gathering pace, but would they deliver on their early promise? Michelham Priory still had a surprise in store. 5 years after we first filmed here, Michelham Priory is still scaring me stiff. If it's possible to both love and hate a place, then for me, this is it. And I may not be the only victim here. With Carl and Stuart chewing their fingers down to the bone in the main building, John, Ian and Ian Shillito weren't exactly lapping up every minute that they're spending in the gatehouse. Whilst in the watermill, my vigil was getting creepier by the minute.
Can you hear us? Can you see us? Can you show yourself to us if you're here, if you're present? Please let us know that you're here. Whoa. Was that someone moving their feet?
Somebody.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard it, but I didn't move.
That was a... oh.
I was just going to say it might have been me touching this beam, but
No,
that
it was
wasn't.
deep.
I heard the other one.
The only person that I can think of is that's causing it is this. Again, this image is prominent in my mind as a man in like periwig who and there's nowhere in. Where did that come from?
Well,
okay.
I see things. Is anyone here? What is that sound?
Sounds like gravel, didn't it?
It sounds... What is that sound? If it's you that played the piano earlier, please do it again now so we can hear you. Move that chair in there, if you can.
It can take a bit of time to build up the energy again, do you see what I mean? So it's not going to happen straight away. But that's... No, there's also a gamekeeper energy in here. You're the gamekeeper, is that correct? Yeah, he's with us now.
Can I walk over there?
Yeah. There's an energy beside him.
Do you want to call out, David?
Mm-hmm.
If there are any astrals, any spirit people here, please make your presence known.
Oh, I heard that.
Yeah, I heard that.
That was from behind me. Oh, I heard that.
If that was you, could you do that again?
There was a tap on the floor. Was that you, Cal? Creepy.
Was that you that scratched me earlier on? Is it me you don't like? Do you wish to harm me in some way? Could you please do it again? Was that you? Could you please do it again?
What was that? I didn't hear that, no.
Did you not?
No. Move one of the chairs behind us. Move any of the chairs around the room. Like you did before. I can't remember which chair it was. I'm kind of disorientated a little bit. I think it was one of those two. How do you feel, Stu?
Shit scared.
Do you?
Honestly, mate, I feel shit scared.
What the was that? Something moved. Something definitely moved.
That's come from that corner over there.
Whoa. Oh, no way. No way, no way. The chair's moved. Whoa. Whoa.
No, it couldn't have moved.
It's moved. It's not where it was. That is mad.
And in hindsight, Carl and I must have been mad to want to return to the scene of our very first paranormal investigation. But now we also have a few more eyewitnesses who strongly agree that whilst this property may appear austere, an invisible force does still seem to dominate a location simply buzzing with astral activity.
What was that?
Whoa. Oh, no way. No way, no way. The chair's moved.
There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that Michelham Priory has most certainly lived up to expectations. Even before the 24-hour vigil that we were doing, Carl and Yvette decided that they would come back and spend the night before alone in the building. They managed 10 minutes. Yvette was absolutely terrified.
We're not scared of you.
Did you hear that?
I did hear that.
I want to get out.
No, we can't.
I think the investigation produced a lot of phenomena, a lot of paranormal phenomena that at this point in time we can't fully explain. And for me as a parapsychologist, that is the most fascinating thing. On the first walk around, Stuart actually appeared to have been scratched by a spirit or something.
Whatever it is has been dragged from here to here. And to do that is a pin or something really sharp like that.
The great thing about this evidence is it was only 5 minutes prior to that we were in an upstairs room and Stuart felt a pin or something sharp actually touch his back. We checked his back and there's footage of that to show that there's no scratch. Less than 5 minutes later we were down in the kitchen. Stuart had the same reaction, although it was a lot more violent, and then when we checked his back there was a scratch on there. There are very, very few explanations for what could have happened. The second piece of evidence that I'd like to focus on is auditory phenomena. At one point early on in the investigation, all of us were in an upstairs room and we heard what sounded like a harpsichord or piano.
But it's not.
Piano, we've heard now.
A skeptic would immediately argue that if there was anybody playing the piano in the downstairs room, they could have got out in time and we would never have seen them. Because of that, we made sure that for the rest of the investigation we had lock-off cameras, we had MP3 recorders, and also beam barriers across the keys of the piano. What was amazing was later on in the investigation, the same thing happened. Looking back over the footage on the lock-off camera, which was pointed at the keyboard, you can't actually hear the sound of the keyboard when everybody else can upstairs. That's unfortunate. But it still doesn't discount the possibility we may be looking at some paranormal source. It could be that the sound of the piano actually exists in the ether, it's part of the Michelham Priory. That would be a paranormal explanation.
I just want to get out of here, but...
Whoa!
What was that? What was that? What was that?
Aside from the specific paranormal phenomena that I've discussed. The whole investigation at Michelham Priory was fantastic, and there are a number of vigils that the team participated in where they captured other phenomena.
Whoa. Oh, no way. No way, no way. The chair's moved.
There is enough evidence there that would warrant further investigation and the Most Haunted team actually returning for a longer period of time and getting to the root of everything paranormal.
Michelham Priory isn't simply impressive by sight, it also appears to house some of Britain's most evidential paranormal phenomena. From Most Haunted's 100th investigation, sleep tight.
Well, Friday means crime night here on Living TV, and the case of a serial killer is reopened when he attacks for the first time in 20 years. Brand new Criminal Minds get things going Friday at 9. Coming next, though, there's more to the 100th episode of Most Haunted than just that. We are heading back to Michelham Priory next for a Most Haunted Extra.